Hello and welcome. Join me, A to G, and here we are for the opening round of the NxtGen Racing team versus team. MRC, Simfx, CRT and P1 as well, all coming together for a championship in the Group 3 cars, and this is round 1. Brought to us by Team Oliver Racing as well, sponsored by Team Oliver Racing, should I say. Truck racing team, really professional and do really well as well. They go all over the place, and I follow them on Facebook and they get some really good results, so I'm looking forward to maybe meeting them one day and actually going and watching. So yeah, thank you for joining. We are about to get qualifying underway by the look of it. 15 minutes manual qualifying, please pit when finished. Right, so it looks like we're underway already. So everyone's just jumped out of the pits to start the outlap. We've got a Shadow Hunter, looks like he's jumped everyone and he's managed to get out first. We'll go through some of the drivers. We've got Gr3, so some familiar drivers to me, but obviously I can't assume that everyone's familiar with all these guys. So we've got Shadow Hunter racing for MRC, NGR, Gr3 racing for NxtGen Racing, D4M, I'll just call him D4 because that's a hell of a name. I'm not going to read that out every time. And Sean F, which I watched last season, so a familiar name to me and a familiar driver. McRobbit, a new guy to me in 5th. All just going around still on their outlap, so no qualifying laps have been put in quite yet. Big C racing for NGR in 6th at the moment. Gnarly Pop in 7th, good name. Tiny Tortoise in 9th, nice liveries as we're flicking through as well. Credit to the guys for putting in a bit of work on that front as well, because it takes quite a long time to come up with some of these good liveries that you see. NGR Cutler, our host, and a familiar name again from last season. We've got NGR Armin in 10th. Lucky Bucky racing for CRT. Stuart Wheel racing, and we've got Gumsy yet to leave the pits. So we've got Shadow Hunter first out of the pits, and he's the first to get underway on his fast lap now. Stay on board with him, see how he goes. Good afternoon, good evening should I say, Gr3, D1 MK3. you like your code names, you lot? You all spies or something? So D1 MK3 sending a message to D4 M1 4N666. So obviously tuning on a bit, just having a bit of a laugh, sorry. Strange names you end up finding online. So let's see what Shadow Hunter can do, and then we'll watch the other guys cross over the line and see what kind of time they manage to put in. He's doing quite well in the little practice session that was going on just before I've started the stream as well. These guys have been on track for a while now, practicing before qualifying started. So 1:47.353, which is a reasonable time there from Shadow Hunter. Gr3 with a 1:47.397. McRobbit coming through Parabolica. So there's a couple of things to mention whilst we're underway with regards to the race. So it's a 50-minute race around Monza. Everyone's in the Group 3 cars, but most interestingly I think is the fact that there's only one set of tyres available for each driver of the soft, medium and hard, so no super soft tyre available, and they've got to make that last obviously a 50-minute race, so it really should make it quite interesting. I'm looking forward to it in that regard, because it's not just going to be flat out speed that's going to win it, it's going to be a mix of speed and strategy really, so should be really good. I'm looking forward to it. Just grabbing a quick drink whilst I can before it all kicks off big time and we start. So just quickly go through and see what everyone's up to. Don't try in seconds as they've all got a lap in now. Got that first banker lap in. Bear in mind this fuel, so as you would expect, like in Formula 1 or the old days in Formula 1 when you're getting rid of fuel, then well, they still do that though. I can't remember, I don't really watch it that much these days, but yeah, getting rid of fuel, so they expect to be faster towards the end of qualifying, so they go for a pit stop towards the end, get some fresh tyres on, use a low fuel load so the car's slightly lighter, and try and get that slipstream ideally as well to put in the ultimate lap. So the order so far: Shadow Hunter leads away in first position with a great time so far. In first with provisional pole. Burnt Fry in second. We've got Gnarly Pop in third. Cutler in fourth. Sean F in fifth. Great time from Sean F. D4M in sixth. Sorry, I'll flick through as I mention these guys. Big Z in seventh. I'm a bit rusty, I haven't done any streaming for a while, sorry. I was never that good at it in the first place. Lucky Bucky in 8th. And we've got NGR Armin in 9th. So these guys towards the back, obviously looking to get a faster time in. And especially, like I've already mentioned, as the fuel drops off. Tiny Tortoise in 11th. Good car mix so far going through the grid. Not too many different varieties, but we'll go through that as we go through the race as well. Pick up on the car choices a little bit more. I don't want to run out of things to say all in the first 5 minutes, you see. Those keen-eyed amongst you will be able to obviously see the car choices from each driver. So now they pop into second position now. We're 1:48.381 so far. That's his personal best. Over a second, just over a second off the provisional pole sitter at the moment, Shadow Hunter's time of a 1:47.353, so that's the time to beat. As we head into the second stage of qualifying in a minute, as everyone will be looking to get some fresh tyres on and go for that optimal time. Excuse me. Flick through. I'm not doing much flicking through. I do apologise. Cutler's got himself back up into fourth. Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't third, sorry, he's dropped into fourth. A bit of a moment of oversteer there over the curb, just unsettled the car, the Audi R8, and had to just be careful getting the power back down, making sure he didn't make more of a mistake of it. So he might have a little bit of bit of an issue with dirty tyres there. Brings him off the track again as he goes through the second Lesmo, or through the first one, sorry, and on the exit into the second one. So Cutler, I dare say, won't be improving this lap round. Let's see how Gnarly Pop's doing, the guys at the front. So Shadow Hunter is confidently just sat in the pits. I'm not sure what he's doing there, but at the moment he's just losing time in qualifying, so he's also losing the chance to get rid of fuel. A bit of an issue there from someone getting going again. Someone's had a spin. Let's see who it is. It's D4. D4's had a bit of a moment on the grass. Gets it going again, but that's a wasted lap from him there. Unfortunate. I'm finding it pretty hard to judge everyone. I'm trying to, at the same time as doing a bit of commentary, trying to judge how everyone is, because there's a lot of new guys in here to me, so I know I'm familiar with a few of them, and trying to judge who's fast and all the rest of it by the people that I kind of know, trying to work out what the pace will be for the race kind of thing, what the cars are actually good on tyres, what aren't, and all that kind of stuff. Bit of damage actually on the front of Biggs's car, picked up a bit of front aero damage, front bumper. Yeah, we'll quickly go through the order. So we've got Shadow Hunter actually changing his tyres finally in the pits. We've got Gr3 in second, not far off at all though. 0.044 difference between the you can hear Gr3 just trying to lose a bit more fuel there. Yeah, just 0.044 difference between Shadow Hunter and Gr3, so it's close for first position at the moment. Gnarly popping third, he's been up there or thereabouts from the start in this qualifying session. Gums has now jumped ahead and demoted Cutler down into fifth. Oh, he's just gone up into third actually, so great time, he improved to with a 1:47.545. So great work there from Gumsy to get himself up into the top three in qualifying. Obviously there's still time for improvement from everyone, but at the moment it's not a bad place to be. Gnarly Pop jumping in the pits to get some fresh rubber on the car. Cutler coming through to set another time. Oh, sorry, just an outlap actually. I'm going to say it's a ridiculously fast time, but that's an outlap. Sean in the pits. Fair few pit stops going on at this point. P4M's got going again, comes through Parabolica to start his next stint of fast laps. Looking back, he's got quite the gap behind him, nothing to worry about into the first corner. Massive gap in front there, could do with a slipstream. Monza is a track where slipstream is particularly handy because of the long straights, and there's not that many corners either, so you just got to be careful into the braking zones, but the slipstream is very, very handy around here. Through Curva Grande. Into the second chicane. The braking zone roughly around the 100 metre marker. It's rather worrying when you get the braking a bit late into there though, because there's not a lot you can do about it other than attack the curbs as aggressively as possible and try and get away with it. Into the first Lesmo. Nicely held. I'll use D4M here to talk around the track a little bit. Second Lesmo. Lots of people I'm sure are familiar with Monza, but for those that aren't, it's quite a historic track, been around forever. A genuine track that exists in Italy, not quite sure where, my knowledge isn't that good. So through the Skyrish chicane, nearly forgot the name of it there. Hooks it up quite nicely, could have carried a little bit more speed by the look of it, but not too bad at all. And then braking for the last corner now, roughly about the 75 mark. Into Parabolica, looking for a really good exit out of here. Slow in, fast out. It is the true definition of that saying is Parabolica. You really want to carry the speed, but you carry too much, you're going wide on the exit straight away. Jumping on board with Gnarly and going through the field again. Gnarly dropped down into fifth. He was in third for quite a while, so he'll be looking to improve. Cutler's done a great job of improving. Oh, cutting the chicane there, I'm not sure what's going on there. But Cutler doing a great job to get it up into third now. I'm not sure how he's managed that, or if that's even a legitimate lap, but we'll assume it is. Great job from Cutler though. So quickly go through the order again. Shadow Hunter is still leading at the moment. Provisional pole goes to him. Gr3 in second. Cutler in third. I'll go through the times as well. Gr3 in second, we're 1:47.240. Cutler in third, we're 1:47.359. Gumsy in the pits, but in fourth with a 1:47.545. D4M in 5th position with a 1:48.727, so there's a big gap all of a sudden between Gr3 and D4M there of over a second, so quite a big gap in the top 4 there. So Lucky Bucky in 6th with a 1:48.8, so it's pretty close to the back of D4M, and certainly a similar pace around here. Sean F1 with a 1:48 as well, so they're all really close, these guys. So that should make for quite an interesting race if they don't make their way through the field in the mid-pack. I'm in the pits, Bigsy in the pits, McRobbie in the pits, Tiny Tortoise in the pits now, and Sturveal Racing. I do apologise for the pronunciation on that one. It looks German and I'm no German expert. I took French at school and I was terrible at that as well. So 1:47.170, the fastest lap set so far by Shadowhunter. It's a great time in the BMW M6. It's a great car, good stability from the BMW. It just looks like it's just lining up a good exit out of Parabolica. Looked like he went really slowly into there, as though he sacrificed this lap to get a good exit for the next one. Oh, he's weaving about. No, that's it. Oh, that's it, qualifying's over. So he's just pulled the handbrake to have a bit of fun going over the line. No harm in that as everyone's finished now, and here we go, we're about to start the race. Damien, get out the grass. Go get him. Yeah, he had a little spin there in I might be better off calling him Damien rather than D4. But yeah, he had a little spin there in qualifying, so hopefully it doesn't do that in the race. Being a 50-minute race, there's always time to try and get back into it if you do have an incident early on. But obviously it's not ideal in any shape or form. Anyway, wait for the revs to rise, the lights to go out, and we will get this one underway. There we go, the lights. So someone's jumped it. Lucky Bucky has jumped the start, so he doesn't get off the line. Gives you a penalty in Gran Turismo. So someone goes into the back of him. Missed who it was. It's all chaos at the back. Oh, it's all kicked off, and I've missed it all. Jumping on board with Bigsy, looking to get through the first corner. Everyone just finding a little bit of space or trying the best to. Shadowhunter getting wild on the exit, so he's lost his first position and he's on the grass down into 7th. So big moment on the exit of the first chicane from Shadowhunter. I missed if he went in a little bit too hot or if he had a little bit of contact from anywhere, but he's down into 8th position, so big moment there right at the beginning. Cutler into first now, Gumsy in second, Burnt Fry in third. On board again with one of the mid-pack in 6th position, McRobbie trying to get going through the second chicane on the exit into Lesmo now with Bigsy. On the back of Sean, good start from Sean up into 4th. Made the most of that action going on ahead of him. So I missed, like I say, if there was any massive drama there, contact, I'm not going to go back because I want to see what else is going on. We'll skip right back and see what else is going on. So big gaps developed between 7th and 8th already. So Damien in 7th, Sturwheel in 8th, CRT Lucky Bucky in 9th. But a massive gap developed between a lot of these guys. Shadowhunter into 10th now, so it's got even worse. He's got picked up damage as well. He's on the hard tyre, so he will be able to go for a long stint on the hard tyre, but unfortunately he's picked up damage, more damage as well for Gnarly Pop towards the back, so he didn't have a bad qualifying. Started, I forget everyone's position, sorry, I do apologise, I didn't write it down, but forget exactly where everyone started because it's hard to remember exactly what's going on when there's so many things going on. But Gnarly Pop has dropped down as well, so look, let's see if he comes into the pits to repair his damage. I think he will. He's got engine damage, so it's certainly not going to help his racing. Armin's in a similar position as well, so there's a field at the back now that have all got an early pit stop in at the end of lap 1. Anyway, we'll jump on board, see what action is going on further ahead. Looks like McRobbie is on the back of D4M, fighting for 6th position. These guys will be wanting to just settle into this race because it's a long one. 50 minutes is quite a long time to concentrate, so they'll obviously be trying to catch the guy in front and make an opportunity out of it if it arises, but at the same time they'll be looking to just get into this race, look after the tyres, look after the fuel, and see where they're at after 10, 15, 20 minutes, and just see how it progresses for them. Oh, an overtake there. Robbie gets past as D4M just has a little moment on the curb, lost a bit of momentum coming out of the second chicane into Ascari now. Sorry, out of the second Lesmo. Just lost the rear end a little bit, and that's cost him time wise. But Robbie getting past, up into 6th. Sean in 5th. Biggsy's through now into 4th, so Biggsy's got past Sean. He's taken 4th position off him, and Sean's dropped back a little bit as well. So Biggsy with a nice bright colourful livery there. Team Oliver Racing logo on the back, good to see, all over the front as well. It's good stuff. Cars are looking great this season, got to be said. Xcite energy drinks logo on the front as well, and a nice little NHS kind of rainbow on the back as well. It's that's a very good livery, I like that. Looks like he's got Care Bears or something on the side as well. That's a bit different if nothing else. Burnt Fry having a bit of grief as comes through the first corner. It looked like he struggled to get his power down a little bit, so Biggsy's closed up on the back of him. Meanwhile, at the front, we've got Gumsy right on the back of Cutler, chasing him down for first position. So we're on to lap 3 now. Like I say, it's a long old race, 5 minutes into it, but getting towards 5 minutes. See what else is going on. There's a lot more action going on. Robbie seems to have pulled a nice little gap since he's got past D4M. D4M will still have a little slipstream from him, but he's dropping back a little bit. Needs to keep as close as possible for these long straights. Lexus versus Mercedes AMG. So they're all Group 4 cars, obviously. They all handle slightly differently. They've all got different braking, different acceleration characteristics and all the rest of it, different gearing. There is setup on as well in this championship, so the guys are free to tune the cars away and make the most of what Gran Turismo gives you to be able to tune and try and optimise the car every single week for the track. It's a bit of a dark art in itself though, it's set up, so some people struggle with it, some people have quite an advantage from being quite good at it, but it's one of those things, in my experience, it's a bit of trial and error. You've got to be prepared to put quite a bit of time into it, not just expect to get a good setup straight away. It's I guess it's like real life in a way. If you wanted to tune it for your kind of driving style and not just get a generic one off the internet and all that kind of stuff, then it takes a bit of time like anything else, but you get there in the end and it feels worth it because it drives so much better. Side by side we've got D4M and again I'm not that familiar with the names yet, so do bear with me. Stuart Wheel Racing. A little moment there from D4M, I think. He seems to have dropped back quite a bit. Let's go back and see. Don't think we can go back far enough. Didn't catch that early enough, sorry. Like I say, I'm a bit rusty at all this. I need to get used to it a bit more. Again, quite a long break between seasons. So everyone's going really well so far, and no massive dramas apart from the opening lap and a few incidents and a bit of damage here and there. I'm pretty sure most of that will come from the first chicane, as it is pretty notorious. We've actually lost a plate, I'm not sure who's left, but we're down to 12 now. But yeah, the first chicane at Monza, notorious, and especially on the opening lap, as everyone's bunched up and everyone's trying to make up as many positions as possible. So we're on board with Armin in 11th position. Jumped forward, we've got the pole sitter now in 10th position, so we're looking to have a good comeback race. Plenty of time to do it. D4M does need to go. He's dropped a couple of positions in the last 5, I'm going to say 5 laps, we don't even have 5 laps, 5 minutes anyway. Just checking the liveries as well whilst we're going through. Everyone's is looking great. Like I say, a lot of work goes into these liveries, so credit to the guys. D4M is dropped off the back of steer wheel racing a little bit, so he's certainly not out of the race, but it needs to try and keep up with him, and it just allows you to save that little bit more fuel. If you can sit in the guy, if you can sit with the guy in front in the slipstream, then obviously you can save that little bit of fuel, which helps you out in the pit stops. You're not in the pits for as long, and can help you out later in the race. He's on the hard tyre, is D4M, so he's not at the ultimate pace compared to maybe some of the guys. Sean having a moment. What's happened to Sean? So Sean dropping back. He's picked up engine damage. Let's go back, see what happened to Sean if we can. Nope, it's too late. I can't get my replays, they're too slow. Nope, Sean's picked up engine damage, so he's going to have to pit this lap, and he's dropping down now. So D4M's promoted up into 7th position. He's got a little bit of damage as well, front aero and front right suspension damage. Or geometry damage is picked up, so don't think it'll have too much effect on the car, but from my experience, but it does certainly lose you a little bit of lap time. So let's join the guys at the top again, see what else is going on. So Cutler's still leading away in first position, but he's only got 0.7 of a second gap to 0.7 of a second gap to Gumsy behind. So still pretty close as we watch Gumsy closing it right up there through the second chicane into the first Lesmo. Right over to the left hand side, breaking it around the 50 marker to get it chucked into the second Lesmo, ride as much curb as possible without unsettling the car, sticking the slipstream of the car in front, and then away you go, ready to get hard on the brakes into this scary chicane, down 3 gears, depending on what car you're in obviously, but roughly 3 gears, maybe 4, maybe 2, and then get it chucked through the fast chicane. Brilliant part of the track, one of my favourite corners in all the tracks. I really love the Scary chicane, really rewarding when you get it right and you really chuck it in there aggressively. And then into Parabolica for the 6th time. So Gumsy chasing nicely, but having a bit of a yo-yo effect with Cutler, so Cutler losing out on the brakes by the look of it a little bit, but then he seems to have the acceleration at times to just be able to gain that little bit of a gap again. So when it actually comes to the long start finish straight like we see here, he's not quite close enough to stick in that slipstream to be able to have a chance into the first corner. So then it leads him to look for another opportunity around the lap and just chase again. Anyway, jumping on board with Burnt Fry in 3rd. He's got Bigsy behind him, so he's still got the same kind of battle going on. Bigsy with a little bit of oversteer coming out of there, but handles it nicely. McRobbie up into 5th now. Stir Wheel Racing seems to be having a really good race, up in 6th. Just having a steady one so far, but climbing up there nicely. So great job from some of these guys. Unfortunate first lap incident for a fair few people has seen some of the guys that were quick in qualifying actually towards the back, and they've still not managed to make their way through, unsurprisingly, because you do lose a lot of time when you pick up damage on the first lap and you have to limp round and come in the pits. It's an unnecessary pit stop basically, you don't want to be doing it, but obviously you don't want to be doing it, it goes without saying. This is racing, not how many pit stops can you fit in. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, by the way. I really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it so far as well, feel free to hit that like button. Always helps me out. But yeah, I really appreciate you watching. Oh, Shadow Hunter just taking a bit too much curb on the exit and unsettles the rear end of the BMW M6. Luckily he gathers it up quite nicely. We'll have dirty tyres though, so hopefully he doesn't outbrake himself into a Scarry. No, looks like he's gathered it up nicely into there on the brakes, so just a bit of a heart in mouth moment no doubt there for Shadow Hunter. Great racing so far though, enjoying it, and hopefully you guys are too. It's really hard to catch everything at the same time. That's always been my struggle. I'd like to catch every single move and show everyone's overtakes, but it's really difficult to do because you kind of got to judge what action's going to happen and when. Just keep flicking through briefly. I had a calzone for tea and it's yeah. Ooh. Bit of a cut of the chicane there by Burnt Fry, so he's lost momentum. I'm not sure if there's going to be a penalty, don't look like it. No penalty picked up, so he gets away with it this time round, but certainly a bit of a warning fired out there for Burnt Fry. That could have been a bit more dramatic than it was. Bigsy just follows him again. Looks like he might have had a chance there for a second, but nope. So Cutler is under heavy pressure now. Gumsy is right on his bumper. I think Gumsy is at the point now where he wants to try and push, try and make the most of these soft tyres. If he's going to do anything with them, he needs to push and get the most out of them on these next couple of laps before he has to start thinking about a pit stop because of the time loss that he's got from the tyre wear. So Cutler's decided to go earlier than Gumsy and he's dived in, maybe trying the undercut on the pit stop. He's got quite a worn left rear tyre, so you can't go back on the soft tyre, Cutler, so he'll have to choose a different, either medium or hard. So he goes for the hard. Interestingly, he's gone from soft to hard, so that'll be a difficult transition. He needs to make sure that he gets his braking right into this first corner and into the next couple of corners on this opening lap with his new tyres, because it's quite easy to outbrake yourself when you've got the hard compound on when you've just been driving around with the soft, and especially when it's quite a cold tyre as well. You just come out of the pits on it. So Bigsy and Burnt Fry are now both in the podium positions, whilst Cutler is hoping it all comes good for him by pitting that little bit earlier than everyone else. Hopefully he gets a good outlap out of those hard tyres. Let's see how he's going. But Gumsy inherits the lead for the time being. Let's quickly skip through as well, see what else is going on a bit further back. Hard tyre for Cutler, like we've already mentioned. See how he does in this stint now. We're over 15 minutes in, so he's had a good stint out of those soft tyres, to be fair, before he pitted. McRobbie with steer wheel racing, giving him all sorts of pressure in his rear view mirror. Again, great couple of liveries on the car there, liking the gold from McRobbie. If he's not Scottish, I'll be disappointed. Quite a few of these CRT guys, I'll be honest, I'm going to have to look them up because it's not a team I'm overly familiar with, and there's obviously quite a few teams in this sim racing malarkey, especially for Gran Turismo out there, and most of them are on Facebook and some of them have their own websites, and there's all sorts of different stuff going on. But yeah, the CRT is a bit of a new one to me, so I'll have to go check them out myself and educate myself about what they're all about. I'm guessing they just love the sim racing and love a good race against each other. Armin getting back into this race, was in 11th a while ago, so he's managed to make at least one place back up, and he finds himself in 10th. Shadow Hunter's had a bit of a disaster ever since the beginning of this race, and finds himself in 11th. Hopefully he can keep positive, keep it going, keep the laps coming in, because he does have the pace. He proved it in qualifying, so if he can make up some kind of time everywhere he goes, then he might have a chance of clawing a few more positions out of this one. Gnarly Pop, unfortunately, right at the back in 12th, but not doing bad lap times, pretty consistent, 148s for 5 laps in a row there, so nothing wrong with that, but finds himself too far back. Again, he was quick in qualifying, just that first lap incident that kind of claimed all those guys and determined what kind of race they were going to have. So jumping back to our leader. I need a quick sip of juice. Go on board with Gr3. I'll just exit for a second, don't worry, just means I can skip up the camera angles a bit better. Go on board with Cutler actually, because he's coming into the first corner. No real pressure on him behind now, so the pit stops have started happening around him, so he gets promoted back up into second position. He was leading the race for the opening stint, opening 15 minutes, but yeah, the strategies are playing out slightly differently now. So Gums is still going on these soft tyres, making the most of the time he's still finding. It's a bit random, his time's on the right hand side, but they're not too bad overall, so still not lost too much time is what I mean. It's all going on a little bit now with the strategy instead, so it might bring a couple of the guys that we haven't seen racing together a little bit more, and bring the guys in from the back into the race a little bit, depending on obviously on their strategy. If they're on the hard tyre, these pit stops will be playing into their hands from the guys in front. Sean needing a pit stop sometime soon. He's on the medium tyre though, but he needs the fuel sometime soon, so he'll be looking to come in this time round. Gums is in now, so Gums doesn't necessarily need the fuel this lap, but he's coming for the tyres on lap 11. So Cutler coming through Parabolica the last corner to start lap 12. Will he get past Gumsy in the pits? There was a 20-second lead by the look of it, I think it was, as Gumsy came in. So that's the pit stop time there, and then look at this. The battle for first position's on all of a sudden, so Gumsy doing the right thing, sticking to the proper pit exit line, and Cutler having chance to take the proper racing line into the first corner. Unfortunately for Cutler, Gumsy gets it nicely stopped, gets through there quite well, and manages to pull a nice little gap as they start lap 12. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer for a second, then I got a little bit excited, but not quite as close. Bit of debris on the track from one of the barriers. Someone's gone a little bit deep into the second chicane and got the braking wrong, taken one of the barriers out, and it's now sat there on track. Hopefully it doesn't claim anyone as a victim. So Shadow Hunter, like I've said, with the pit stop strategy and everything working its way out now, he's up into 6th, so he's started to climb the order now, managing to make his way back into this race. Unfortunate start for him. I didn't quite catch exactly what went wrong for him, but obviously did lose a lot of time on that opening lap, so it didn't look like a massive mistake though. I'm not sure if it was a bit of contact or it did go too wide or what exactly it was, but he obviously just dropped down the order massively, so there was a jump start from Lucky Bucky, so he caused a little bit of an issue further back. I think someone went into the back of him, but yeah, other than that it looked like everyone got away quite cleanly. A little bit of argy-bargy into T1, and that's where the damage was picked up. It's always a tricky one on Monza. You go for the gap that you've got, and you just hope, you just really like shut your eyes almost, cross your fingers and hope for the best, and hope that you come out of the first chicane alive. And if you do that, then you've got half a chance of having a decent race. laps, and you've got a chance of pulling a little bit of a gap, and the rest of the lap's not quite as bad. So yeah, it's played out as we always expect it to at Monza. It's always consistent. There's always action at the first corner, guaranteed. Tiny Tortoise has joined the room. He must have left earlier on, so yeah, that's who left us earlier. That's a bit unfortunate. I'm not sure if that's a connection issue. There has been a couple of lobby and connection issues recently, so it might have been something to do with that, or it might have been something else, I'm not sure. Oh, Lucky Bucky and Bigsy now. I think Lucky Bucky's just come out of the pits, so he's dropped a few positions, as you would expect when you go in the pits. And Bigsy is just leading away from him. 41 seconds off the leader is Bigsy, so bit of work to do now. He's on the fresh hard tyre to try and climb up the order. Sorry, I've completely forgot that I've got like the messages and stuff. Again, I'm a bit rusty at all this. Great driving, guys. Doing the team proud from Steve Hills there, CRT. One of the CRT drivers by the look of it. CRT are a new team. Ah, I see. We are a new team. I get you now. That's why I'm not overly familiar with you. I see. Well, you've done a good job of the liveries and everything straight away, because they look great. And it looks very professional, so you've obviously got someone in there that knows exactly what they're doing with all this kind of stuff. But yeah, good to see you starting a new team. There's a lot of teams out there, but there's always room for a new one. Just don't do Group 3 and 4 all the time, I beg you. That's my personal opinion anyway. There's too much Group 3 and 4 racing. I know they're great cars, especially on Gran Turismo. It's one of the better categories to racing, or the better two categories to racing, but at the same time there's a lot of cars that are overlooked because of it. So Gumsy with a 26-second lead now. Stir Wheel Racing in second position. So what's happened to Cutler here? I'm not entirely sure what's gone on there, because Cutler was in second after his pit stop, and now he's in fourth. So Stir Wheel Racing now in second, and Shadowhunter's in third. So I think there might have been a bit of drama somewhere, but there's no damage between the guys. I'm not sure exactly what's gone on there, but Cutler looks like he must have had a bit of an off-track moment. As I say it, he does it, and he does it again, getting a bit wild, and again. Oh, Cutler, you need to be careful. So he spins it, he ghosts out luckily, so McRobbie can go through into fourth, but Cutler is just a sitting duck now. He needs to get going. Fifth position, dropped in sixth, seventh. Oh, Cutler, feel for him, into eighth now. Just a couple of corners in a row there. He's struggling to get going on this hard tyre by the look of it, and that's the issue. Like I said earlier, actually, I even mentioned it, going from the soft to the hard tyre can be really difficult, and especially if you've set up the car to just be fast on the soft tyre, and then you haven't really done that much testing on the hard. So I'm not saying that's what Cutler's done, but yeah, unfortunate there. So really big moment, and it's changed the dynamic of the race a little bit for everyone else, because they gain a position and they're now promoted a bit higher up to battle away for a position that's one higher now. So for example, D4M is now battling for fifth position where he was battling for sixth before. And here we go as well, and go on board with him as he gets side by side. Just goes for the inside, brakes, outbrakes Bigsy, sorry, just lost my words there for a second. Outbrakes Bigsy nicely, but doesn't push it too late on the brakes, crucially. And it's a great move. Just dives, gets it done, executes, and off he goes as well. So great move there from D4M. I'm sure one of the guys in the chat, sorry, I'm again not familiar, D1, he'll be happy with that. Oh, as I say that, so D4M has a moment, he's spinning it, going through the second chicane. Let's have a watch. Oh, what's happened to a replay? Have I got it all the wrong way around? Yeah, right, sorry, I'm just working out how this replay works. So here we go. Oh yeah, just lost the rear end. Tried to get the power down a little bit too early and just pushed. He'd already lost the rear end a little bit and just pushed it a little bit too much with the power. And that's it. Result. Yeah, the rear end went unfortunately down into 9th, and he was having a really good race there. So a couple of mistakes creeping in. We're over halfway through. Oh, action ahead as well. Bigsy going wide. Lucky Bucky wondering what the hell is going on. So yeah, a few of the guys having issues at this point in the race. Probably related to concentration because it's a long race. It's nearly half an hour gone, and probably something to do with the difference in tyres as well, like I've already mentioned a few times. Jumping between the tyres isn't always the easiest. We've got a bit of action going on from the slipstream of Lucky Bucky, but we've also got Cutler side by side with Sean, and Cutler manages to get ahead in the braking zone. Doesn't have to worry about Sean down the inside. Sean's sensible enough to just pull him behind, take the racing line, gets a better exit because of it as well, as Cutler finds himself going a little bit deep and goes a little bit wide on the exit, slows himself down, and Sean's through. So going slowly, just dropping back in behind there from Sean worked out, and that's the right thing to do really through the first chicane. There's no point in going side by side, you're just losing each other so much time. Oh no, don't. Oh, Cutler. Bit of a desperate dive there from Cutler, I dare say. I don't like saying stuff like that about the drivers, but that was a little bit too far back to be realistically trying for an overtake. Excuse me. But luckily Sean's managed to get away damage free from that. But Cutler, yeah, looking a little bit desperate in that move. Unfortunately, he managed to get away without damage as well, but his pride will be hurt a little bit from that one, because that wasn't his best moment. Cutler, I am in no way having a go at him, because he's normally, I've watched him for a full season already last season, and he's a very clean, good racer, so there's no complaints there about his driving standards. Just one of those moments, I guess, but it looked particularly bad. Did that one. So Sean just diving down the inside of Lucky Bucky, and Lucky Bucky just looked like he buckled under the pressure a little bit, excuse the pun. Sean getting through up into 5th now, or up into 6th, I'm not sure. Let's see as he gets past the pits. Someone coming out of the pits on the right hand side. Who's that? That's Shadow Hunter just getting going again as he comes out. Just about manages to get sandwiched in between without too much of a lunge from Lucky Bucky behind. Oh, cold tyres there. Struggles to get the traction as he gets power down on the exit of T1. Just about manages to get some kind of momentum going there and keeps it ahead of Lucky Bucky in 7th. Big moment there for Sean. I know, I'm gutted for him, D1. Gutted for him. He was doing such a good job as well, like you say, just overtaking a few as well. And then terror struck. In the chat all the way through these championships. I love it. It's great to see people, I'm guessing the people's family or mates turning up to watch the streams and watch the racing. I hope you enjoy it, and I do some kind of justice to the kind of racing that goes on and how well these guys are actually doing, and the consistency of driving. There's a lot of effort and time that goes into practicing for these things, and it's good to get recognised from these people that jump in the lobby and they watch the mates or whatever it might be. So jumping back on board with Gumsy in 1st position. He's got a 25-second lead, looking very comfortable in this race in the Mercedes, I don't know why I just went Jordy, Mercedes AMG. I didn't mean to go Jordy, it just came out wrong. Steer wheel in 2nd, in the BMW M3. Don't think I've actually gone through everyone's car choice yet. So McRobbie in the Lexus Tenza, I think it is. Not one of my favourite cars. Sean F1 with a little bit of pressure from behind from Shadow Hunter now. Sean doing a great job though in fourth. He's come back stronger, Sean. He seemed to really progress throughout the last season, so I hope he don't mind me saying so, but he wasn't one of the faster drivers when the season started. We see Shadowhunter really aggressively getting through, but nearly losing it, risking it all almost, but gets the job done through the second chicane and goes into second Lesmo now, lap 18. And we've got just less than 17 minutes left. But great move, looked aggressive, but great move there from Shadowhunter. But yeah, Sean's just seemed to improve last season. I can't speak about a lot of these drivers because I don't know them yet, but yeah, Sean was good, and he certainly seems to have put in the practice between the seasons as well, so he's a bit higher up again now. So just flick through yet again. Do apologise if it annoys you me flicking through, but it's the only way that I can really see what's going on properly. Lucky Bucky in 6th. Bigsy behind, and we've got Gr3 in the mix as well, so we've got a 3-car battle developing here, heading into Parabolica. Gr3 looking for a good exit, no need to compromise his line, but ahead of him Bigsy and Lucky Bucky are obviously slowing each other down because they're battling. Gr3 just pulling through on Lucky Bucky there with a slipstream on Bigsy, and he's making the move. Can he make a double overtake on the straight? Oh, great opportunity made good there. Gr3 just getting the ultimate exit out of Parabolica on lap 19, or the start of lap 19, and what a dive, well, not dive, that's the wrong word, but what a double overtake there. So he's just gone from 8th position up into 6th. Great move of the night that I've seen from Gr3 there. Is Bigsy going to come back at him, chasing back for 6th position? Oh, the cars are looking extremely loose on the exits of some of these corners. They're incredibly keen to get going, these guys, and get away from each other. And it shows in the body language of the cars, really. See again a little twitch from the Lexus. So again, these things might have sorted themselves out as the rounds go on, as people get that tune tweaked that little bit more and avoid these little moments as much as possible. And great racing going on. So Lucky Bucky got a bit mugged there, and he's dropped a few positions all of a sudden. But it was great racing, no complaints really, or not from what I saw. Oh, in the background we've got Cutler and Gnarly Pop pretty close together. So Gnarly Pop's got himself back into this race. He's been towards the back the whole way, but he's now in 11th. Armin's now in 12th, so a bit of a battle between these guys for the who is last, basically. I can't think of the best way to say it without insulting anyone. All in all, we've got a great bunch of drivers here. Though slightly mixed ability between everyone, but there always is. There's a mixed ability in F1 at the end of the day. There's some great racing going on so far, so hopefully this is a sign of things to come for the rest of the season, and we'll have a great championship. I'm liking this introduction of CRT because we've filled up quite a lot of the grid. Great Makita livery there from Shaw. Got a couple of Makita drills myself. Power tool brand if you're not familiar with them. I've run out of things to say, so this is why you start getting boring boring information like that. Lack of creative enthusiasm. So we're on to lap 21 now with the leaders. Guys behind will be slowly coming through onto lap 21 in a minute. Let's go on board with a couple of the drivers. We'll watch Shadowhunter. It was in pole position, so we know he's capable of fast laps. See how he tackles this track. Got plenty of fuel, so it looks like he can go to the end here. There's the information at the bottom about fuel and tyres. So long as he looks after those medium tyres, but I dare say we'll be able to for 12 minutes. Shadowhunter's in a good strong position here actually. He's 50 minutes off the leader, but it could change. He might not get obviously the win, but he might have a chance of actually getting second if Sturwheel still needs a pit stop. So it's dependent on that really. That could be quite interesting towards the end. So yeah, if any of the drivers end up watching this back, which I'm sure a few of them will, then yeah, credit to you guys. It's looking like a great season already. Some great driving and good standard already. Obviously a little bit of an incident here and there into the first corner, but I'm sure it'll sort itself out as the weeks go on because everyone's new drivers. So yeah, credit to yourselves. It's been a good showing for the first week. Not that it's over yet, but from what we've seen so far. Into Parabolica. It's a great corner, I absolutely love it. It looks brilliant as well with the low sun coming through the trees there. One thing Gran Turismo does do well, it does look pretty good. I keep forgetting to look at the chat. Son of Armin. Armin, unfortunately, he had a bit of a bad start to this race. Picked up damage at the beginning by the look of it anyway, if I remember rightly. There's a lot happened since then. Seems like a long time ago. Some of the guys jumping into the pits. Sorry to interrupt myself, but lucky bucket into the pits, and I just missed the other guy that was just jumped in. Yeah, a couple of guys going for their last stop now and getting some fresh tyres on. So we'll jump back on board with a couple of the other guys, see where the close action's at, and we'll just watch that for as long as it goes on for now really, because there's a bit of a gap between a lot of the cars. So credit to everyone for having a good race and putting in the consistent laps, but it's not always the most entertaining to watch, just a car going around on its own. So we'll watch the action from Bigsy and Burnfry here. Gumsy from first position in the pits. I dare say he'll have quite a long pit stop because he needs fuel, but at the same time he won't need that much fuel, and he's probably got a big enough gap to still come out in first. We'll keep an eye on that though. See if Sturwheel jumps into first position. Looks like he's just come out of the pits now, does Gumsy, or Sturwheel's in the pits anyway, so Gumsy's definitely back out in first. Bit of a moment on screen from Bigsy. I'm just looking at the times at the top left. Bigsy having a little bit of a moment through the second Lesmo by the look of it. Is that where we are on track? Yep. Coming into the Scary Chicane now. They managed to get away with it. We didn't have any real aggressive attempt from Burnfry behind. Looked like he could have possibly made more of it. Whoa, getting a little bit loose at the rear by the look of it is Burnfry on the exit. Right in the slipstream now, looking for the chance. It's Parabolica down the inside, late on the brakes. Does he get it done? Nice and clean, goes a little bit deep mid-corner, which gives Bigsy the chance to come back with the cutback, but it's not got it done this time round. So Burnfry up into sixth. Great move there from Burnfry as well, executed brilliantly. Get the words out eventually, and yeah, great work. Up into sixth position. Will Bigsy come back at him now? That is the question. Not making a late lunge anyway, so he follows him round for another lap around Curva Grande. Yeah, great work there from Burnfry. So he's been quite decisive on his overtakes tonight, Burnfry, and he's really made them count. And we've seen a good couple of overtakes from Burnfry during this race. So really good stuff, providing us with a good bit of action to watch. Once again, as you see all over the cars, if you're wondering what that TOR is and what it stands for, it's Team Oliver Racing, the racing outfit, and the Xcite energy drinks logo on the front as well. The sponsors for the season, shout out to them. Nice NHS liveries, logos on the cars as well, giving a little bit of respect to what's going on at the moment and the current crisis that we all know about. I don't need to tell you about that. So jumping back on board with the leader, Gr3. He's back out of the pits for his final stint now. Just less than 7 minutes to go, so he's just got to close this race out now, keep it nice and consistent. He's got a 24-second gap and nothing to worry about whatsoever. He's on the hard tyre, so just needs to keep it on track, and he's got this win in the bag. So great race. So as I say that, oh, commentator's curse. I didn't think it was a thing, but I'm starting to believe it is. It's happened a few times tonight. Luckily, oh, I say luckily, he's got away with it. He's got damage. He's got engine damage as well. That, I believe, we'll see Gr3 in the pits. Will this actually make a difference? Will this actually change the result of the race? It looks like Gr3 had it all sewn up until I mentioned it. So, oops, sorry Gr3 if you watch this back. I didn't mean to do that. Not that I have any control over your body or wheel or pad or whatever you're playing on, but it felt like it was kind of my mistake, my fault then. Oops. Anyway, he's slowly bringing it towards the end of the lap. He's going to come through parabolic on lap 24, but he's going to have to dive in the pits because he's going to lose this race. If not, he still might lose it anyway. I dare say he's lost his first position here because the pit stop's quite long on this track, and he's got damage to fix, so it's never the shortest pit stop. So Sturwheel's going to inherit first place here. I'm not sure he'll be aware of what's going on unless he's keeping an eye on the delta ahead, but with a 24-second gap he might not have been paying much attention to it. So Sturwheel now is just going to find himself in first position. Let's have a look as Gr3 comes out of the pits. Oh, he comes out of the pits, he still is in first, just about. Oh, this is heating up. Back on board with Gr3. So Gr3 is into second. He can't quite get the acceleration out of the pits to keep ahead of Sturwheel, and Sturwheel just gets it done on the brakes, keeps it nice and calm, and just inherits first place. So battle on now for the remaining 5 minutes for the lead, and this is going to be an interesting one. So it's BMW M3 versus Mercedes AMG. Will Gr3 be really frustrated about that and really want that first position back and almost try too hard for it and cause himself another incident, or will he actually cause contact by going for a little bit of a late dive? I'm not sure. He's going to want to just sit there and take second position after such a good race and a tiny little mistake. He's probably going to try his hardest to get first back. I don't quite know Gr3 that well, so I'm not sure how he'll treat it, but certainly puts an interesting spin on the end. Good evening, Neutron Storm, Paul, D1, Paul again, Chris, McCall, Carrington, Steve. Shout out to you all. Burnfry, thank you for joining me, and especially if you've been here all night, thank you very much. So Gr3 just following him round this lap. He is still on the out lap, so looking to just get into the groove on the hard tyre. Obviously he's got no tyre wear to worry about in this last stint now. He just needs to execute his fastest laps on the hard tyre. The fastest laps he can, that is, on the hard. Not his fastest laps of the race, it's highly unlikely on the hard tyre. Sturwheel in a really strong position. If he can just hold the pressure off here, he's got this whoop, because he's on the soft tyre, so he has got the advantage, and he is pulling a slight little gap. It's, I mean, we're not talking a big gap, it's just got over a second as we speak, but he's still got a gap over Gr3, so it's all heating up. Before we get right to the end of the race, we'll just check in on everyone else, see what's going on. Shadow Hunter looked like he got it a bit sideways there, doing his best Ken Block impression. McRobbie in fourth, had a good race as McRobbie. Good consistent, yo-yoed a little bit, seemed to drop down a little bit at the beginning, but he's made his way back up nicely, and I think he's the top CRT driver, so good work from Robbie. Gr3 in 5th, but he's had a good race as well. He's just made his way up the order with some great moves, so got to give it to Gr3. He's probably, from what I've seen, I don't see every single bit of action, but from the overtakes I've seen, Gr3's got to be my driver of the day. Let me know who yours is from what you've seen. Not particularly for everything that I've seen from him, but he has done some really good overtakes and really committed to them, and I like seeing that. Really committing to a move, not just trying it willy-nilly and making it into a mistake, but just getting the job done and executing it nicely. Cutler's had a bit of a mixed one as well. Found himself dropping back and trying to get back into this race. He's in 8th at the moment. We've got Lucky Bucket in 9th. Gnarly Pop in 10th. Not giving these guys that much coverage. I do apologise if you're fans of these guys, but there's not been that much action to watch towards the back. So D4M now, he's definitely had a mixed race. He was doing really well at one point. I think he got himself up into 4th, maybe even 5th position. I'm not sure exactly where it was. I forget now, but finds himself in 12th now. So it's all gone wrong somewhere for him. But these guys, if they're new to this, I'm not sure if they are, but it's all a learning process, and they'll come back stronger next week, no doubt, and look for a better result. So jumping back on board with our leader, now he's pulled a bit of a gap. He's up to 2.8 second gap on his soft tyres against the hard tyre of Gr3 in 2nd. So the strategy has worked out beautifully for Steerwheel at the end here. I'm sure that's what he intended, using a soft tyre for the pace at the end, but the incident from Gr3 certainly played into his hands, and he wouldn't have inherited that first place if it wasn't for that incident that we saw Gr3 have. I need a drink again. Whew. Speak too much during these. Need to chill out a little bit. I get a bit too excited at times, as you might be able to tell. So Shadowhunter will be happy with this. This is the first race he's had in this championship, is Shadowhunter. So he'll be happy with a 3rd. So Steerwheel brings it over the line on lap 27. In the end, 27 laps for 1st position. Gr3 follows him home in 2nd, 3 seconds behind. And Shadowhunter looks like he's going to bring it home nicely with a little bit of a moment through Parabolica on the last lap. So 50 minutes have gone by, and these guys have had a great race to get themselves onto the podium in the end. So Shadowhunter, after a really bad start, makes up a great comeback race and finishes 3rd. Robbie in 4th. Gr3 not far behind at all, less than a second behind in 5th. Sorry, my voice is breaking. 6th is Sean, I'm 35. NGR Biggsy is in 7th. Cutler in 8th. So it's been pretty good action, I dare say, from the first race, and like I said during the race, if it carries on like that, then we should be on for a very good championship and pretty entertaining stuff every week. There's a bit of a different layout to this championship, so they're not all endurance races. There's some sprint races where there's 2 races in a night instead, and one of them's a reverse grid race. So feel free to stick with me, subscribe, hit that like button, and we see Gnarly popping over the line in 10th there, D4M coming over the line in 11th, and NGR Armin coming over in 12th. So that concludes that. There we go, victory for Steerwheel. So congratulations to Steerwheel. Brilliant job in the end from him to just keep it consistent, and yeah, you never know how it's going to go until it's over. So it worked out for him, just keeping those consistent laps in. Bit of a mistake ahead, and there we go, he's gifted the win in a way. Still had to work hard for it and get in the gap at the end, but does a really good job. So congratulations there for Steerwheel, and yeah, thank you very much for watching once again. I'm pretty much going to leave it there before my throat gets much more sore, And yeah, take care, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, comment, do all that good stuff, share it if you feel that anyone you know would like watching these kind of things. And yeah, I will see you again soon. Take care, hopefully I'll see you next week, and bye for now. Look after yourselves as well, stay safe.